Establishing boundaries in relationships. Hello, my name is Chengi, your dating and relationship expert, here to teach you how to present as a high value, high status, high worth woman that men find completely irresistible. I'm also the international best-selling author of the book Position for I Do, How God Delivers Mr. Right when you live with power and purpose. So today we're going to be talking about setting boundaries in relationships. Why don't we set boundaries in relationships? How do we set boundaries in relationships? If there was ever a woman that I know that had zero boundaries in relationships, that would be myself. And I had issues with setting boundaries in relationships because I was always afraid that if I made clear my boundary, I would be rejected. So some of us find it hard to set boundaries in relationships because we are afraid of rejection. If I say, this is my boundary line, this is what I will and will not accept, they may walk away. They may decide that I am not worth it. And so that is point number 2. We don't have enough self-worth. You see, in order to set boundaries, you have to have high self-worth. You need to know that you deserve to be treated the way that you want to be treated, that it is your birthright to be treated in the way that makes you feel special. And if you don't have self-worth, then you will not be able to set boundaries. The reason we don't set boundaries is because we have a deficit on the inside of our soul. Women that do not set boundaries believe that they're opening themselves up to greater, more abundance, but in fact, you're opening yourself up to abuse. You're opening yourself up to greater of the lesser quality of men, to the lesser quality of relationship. A relationship, the quality of the relationship, the beauty of the relationship, the detail of the relationship is really down to the boundaries that are laid down in that relationship. Have you been with a man who makes it abundantly clear that there are certain things that he will not accept from his woman? He doesn't mince words. He says it the way he means it. And there's something about a man that just says, this is what I require of my woman, that makes you want to be that girl, that makes you want to never lower your standard. I dated a guy once who was like, I don't like any woman who will yell and scream and shout. I will just end that relationship. And I just knew that I was not gonna fall in that boundary. And what happened is the quality of that relationship was so much better because I was able to set my standards. He was able to set my standards. And let me tell you something about healthy relationships. Healthy relationships have healthy fear. Okay, let me explain that. You have to have some tension in the relationship where both partners knows that each of you have deal breakers and where we tether. The problem is when we're in relationships, we are looking for unconditional love. And I'm going to say this to you and I'm going to say it to you again, that unconditional love, and the only person able to deliver that kind of sweet, sweet loving, that's Jesus. He's the only person who can love us unconditionally. The rest of us have conditions. The sooner we own that, the better the quality of our relationships will be. I have some standards and I have some requirements that will keep me satisfied and comfortable in a relationship, as does my fiance. He has his standards and he has his requirements that keep him comfortable in the relationship. My ability to meet some of those standards, if not all of them, and his ability to meet those standards is what gives our relationship equity. Is what gives our relationship equity enough for us to want to keep coming back for more with each other. You have to understand that yes, I have to have bits in my relationship where I tiptoe a little bit around my fiance and he tiptoe a little bit around me. Not because he's walking on eggshells or not because I am walking on eggshells, but because we are trying to make sure that we honor each other. When we get into relationships where I want to be able to belch, I want to be able to say what I want to say, do what I want to do, and you should just be able to accept it, we begin to go into a toxic place and into a toxic relationship. And what begins to happen is we begin to disintegrate that relationship. No, you can't speak to me like that. You can't treat me like that. You cannot behave like that around me. And that is what creates quality, because whenever two people are making an effort, boundaries, dating beautiful single woman, boundaries, beautiful angel, are what really set apart the pick-me girls, low value girls from the high value girls. A high value woman has clear boundaries. She is confident and self-assured, enough self-worth, enough self-esteem to communicate when her boundaries are being stepped on, to communicate what those boundaries are early on in the relationship. The best time ever to set a boundary is when we're in the first 3 months of that relationship. That is when we set boundaries, because that is the honeymoon stage of the relationship. That is the stage when we're willing to do anything to please the person. What some of us do, because we're insecure and we're afraid of rejection, is that we let the relationship, the bad behavior happen, and we think, once I have him, once we're comfortable in the relationship, then I will speak up. But by then you've already taught your partner, your husband, your boyfriend, to treat you a certain kind of way, and now you're gonna be doing the battlefield of pushing back certain behavior, and it will be difficult because you accepted it in the first place. You don't have to be bitchy about communicating your boundaries. All you have to say is, that makes me feel very uncomfortable. You have every right to say that, to do that. But it makes me feel very uncomfortable. It makes me feel that I'm not loved, and it's something that I will not be able to continue to live with. That not only honors the relationship, but it also honors the other person. It gives the other person a roadmap as to how they can relate to you, how they can please you, and how they can keep from hurting you. You see, how wonderful is it when we can give people a roadmap as to how to love us? It makes loving us simple. It makes loving us easier. It makes loving us more pleasant. Anybody that is not prepared to honor your boundaries shouldn't be in a relationship with you, doesn't get the privilege of being in a relationship with you, because you are a prize. I certainly hope that this video has helped somebody to set boundaries in their relationship, and it is never too late to set those boundaries. When you need to do it, get it done, because you are not destroying the relationship. You are establishing it. And so I look forward to seeing you on my next video. In the meantime, if you would like to talk to me and speak to me one-to-one, all you have to do is go to chengisworld.co.uk, press the contact Chengi button, and book yourself a 30-minute or an hour call. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. In the meantime, take care of you. Love you lots.